Hey there folks, Pliskin by 51mm. And today I figured I would do my first impressions on my CZ-75 SP-01. This keeps wanting to fall over. Just ignore it. CZ-75 SP-01. This is the first ever semi-automatic handgun I've ever owned, and it is the first centerfire handgun I have ever owned. I've shot several of them in the past. I've shot Glocks, I've shot 1911s, I've shot 44 Magnums that weren't my dad's. I've shot revolvers. I had to go get the charger for my camera because my camera's being stupid. But as I was saying, I've shot several centerfire handguns in my life, but I have never owned one up until now. And you know, owning one, I get the chance to practice and learn the fundamentals of a pistol that I simply just was not able to before in the past. But anyway, CZ-75 SP-01 safety model, my first ever semi-automatic centerfire handgun. It's unloaded, by the way. I absolutely love this handgun. I will say, you know, since I'm new to it, I still need to learn it a little better. When I go out to the range, I've had 79 rounds to it, by the way, but when I go out to the range and I shoot, I have a bad habit of pulling to the left when I fire. And I read that what I am doing, and I'm probably doing it subconsciously, is I'm gripping this grip too hard. And that probably stems from the fact that all the handguns that my dad owned, and they are the centerfire handguns that I, you know, have shot the most in life. He has a snub nose Smith & Wesson Model 10 38 Special. And then he has a full-length 6-inch barreled 44 Magnum. And those were the two extremes. It was a little handgun I could barely, you know, grab a hold of good enough to shoot. I always constantly had to shoot at single action whenever I shoot that handgun. People are like, why do you always shoot at single action for? It's like, well, it's because that small grip on that little 38. I have big hands, and that little 38, I have to, you know, click that down, because the trigger, if I pull the trigger, I start doing this with it when I do it double action. And then the other one was a hand cannon that does this constantly every time you shoot it. So it probably stems from the fact that those two are the most common centerfire handguns I've shot in life. I've only ever shot just a handful of 9mm, so that's probably why I jerk to the left when I shoot handguns, because it just, you know, that death grip on them other ones is kind of something I just developed. But anyway, as I stated, 79 rounds to this bad boy. Most people would probably say I need to shoot more, and I would probably agree with them. Actually, I do agree with them. I probably, you know, should shoot more. through it. But right now is a turbulent time in the firearms industry, firearms community, culture, whatever you want to call it. Ammo prices are still through the roof, and ammo availability is scarce, and I can't really afford to shoot up all that I have right now. I can't really afford to shoot up all the 9mm I've got now, because it's very expensive. But what I have shot through it, this handgun does group good when I do my part, and take my time. It is a very accurate shooter, and offhand I can put several bullets into a 6-inch group at like 10 yards with 115 grain full metal jacket, and that's minute a man. So I will get better as time goes. In fact, the second trip that I made to shoot this dude, my groups were better than the first time I went to go shoot. So overall, I love the SP-01 so far. I have not had a single failure to feed or failure to extract with, the chambering and cycling. Most people say you need a break-in period on handguns to ensure that they will cycle properly. Thing is, I don't think this SP-01 needs a break-in period, simply for the fact that it doesn't seem to have any issues cycling. Now, I've only run brass ammo through my handgun, and I kind of make that a pet peeve with all my guns, not just handguns, to just stick to brass, because steel case stuff is too, I'm sure they probably changed it by now, but I've always heard horror stories of guys that would run steel case ammo through their guns and it'd be corrosive, and then they come back the next night and their firearm, regardless of what it is rusting already. So I don't want to risk rusting out my firearms, because I get in cycles where I'm busy and can't get back to them after I shoot them. And brass case ammo doesn't seem to be anywhere near as corrosive. But overall, my opinions on the SP-01 so far this early in, I absolutely love it. And if you go back and look at my other first impressions videos after I recently just bought a firearm, I always do a really low round count first impression, and then when I come back later I will do a higher round count impression, and then use this as the basis, like, okay, well, this is what I said on the SP-01, or okay, this is what I said about the M1A after I had owned it for just a little bit and run this many amount of rounds to it. Now, and then, I come back, now I've had this many through it, what's changed, what do I notice that's different? Has my thoughts on the firearm changed any after owning it this long and shooting it this much? Stuff like that. But so far, not a single issue with the SP-01, other than the fact that the trigger on this, for me, I don't know what it is. Of course, the wall for it is right here, right there. It's the wall when you shoot it. When it resets while shooting, it smacks the crap out of my index finger. And guys, I've watched guys do reviews on these, and I studied up on them quite a bit before I bought my SP-01. Everybody says that the safety model has the best trigger compared to the decocker, and I will admit the trigger on this is smooth. I'm not going to dry fire it, because you're not really supposed to dry fire CZs unless you put like an O-ring there on the firing pin tail, because the more you dry fire this dude, dry fire it without something being in it, this roll pin here, yeah, right there, as you can see, that roll pin starts to wear out, and when it breaks, your firing pin will go whoop, fall right out. But everybody says that the trigger on the safety model of the SP-01 is better, and I have held a few decocker models, and I can't I mean, this one does have a good trigger. I'm sure if I were to get both of them and shoot them back to back, this one does have a good trigger, but the trigger reset just slaps the crap out of my finger. And again, that's probably just me because I'm new to this handgun. This is the first semi-automatic I've ever owned, and you know, I'm still learning the thing. I bought this, I think April 26th or 21st, something like that, somewhere in there, last month, and I paid $921 for it. Some people would probably say that's a bit ridiculous, and I will agree. And the guy that the FFL, he even said that if I had waited a week, I'd have probably been able to have got this dude for $700. But I took it on a, you know, I need it now type deal. I have a Smith & Wesson Model 17-3 22 long rifle revolver, and I have a Heritage Rough Rider single action Army 22 revolver. And I needed something centerfire that takes a common, widely available handgun cartridge, and the most common in today's world is 9mm. So, you know, I could have got this for a cheaper price if I had waited, but I took it on, you know, I need it now type deal, because at the time, April, we was still thinking that Uncle Joe would have enough balls to try and do something anti-gun-ish. Now that ain't so much the case. They don't seem to have any support for it in the Senate, but you know, they may still try. But I didn't care. I just need a handgun that's centerfire, takes a lot of ammo, takes mags, and shoots a commonly available, you know, pistol cartridge, and that I can customize easy. And the SP-01 fit the bill. And it had been a handgun that I had been, you know, wanting for several years. CZ does a good job. This is a CZ-75 on steroids, but it just, you know, the overall look of it and feel kind of feels like them 1911s I've held. It's just, you know, slicker. That's the way I look at it, but overall, I'm happy with it. I just need to shoot it more. And, you know, I'd rather pay $920 to get the handgun I've always wanted when I'm able to, as opposed to wait and then not be able to, because you never know. Especially now. Let's just hope that Uncle Joe and his band of mouth-breathing window lickers aren't, you know, they never get wise enough to, you know, finally actually do something anti-gun. But overall, first impressions, absolutely love it. Runs like a dream, not had a problem with it. And I will come back in about a year or two after I've run a few more rounds through it and had more time to shoot it and do some accuracy ammo tests with it, and then do another impressions video. And just stay tuned, guys, because you'll be seeing me shoot this dude a lot more, along with the M1A and the AR-15 and my other guns. Anyway, this has been Pliskin by 51mm. I'll catch you guys all in the next video.